Welcome to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO for Real podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. I'm your host, JMO. And today's friend is my wife and co-host, Sarah.
Hi, everyone.
How's it going today, Sarah?
It's very hot today.
Oh, yeah, no, it is very warm today. Not that it's necessarily warm on the day that you're listening to this, but
Fair.
The day we're recording this, it feels like 108 outside.
Yeah.
So that just leads us into this really hot episode that we're going to be doing. In today's episode, we'll be revisiting the world of Hunter x Hunter, an adventure fantasy anime with both martial arts and coming-of-age sub-themes. And for the purposes of this show, we will be using the 2011 release date. For the next 20 to 25 minutes, we will be exploring the York New City arc of Hunter x Hunter. First, we will look back at our four main characters to see what they have been doing to get ready for this event. Next, we will explain all the major happenings that are causing people to flock to York New City, including two major auctions. Afterwards, we will meet the Phantom Troupe and explain their major role in these events. Finally, we will spoil some of the key battles that shape the events of the coming days. And remember, if you like what you hear today, follow us on social media, linked in the show notes. So the gang's back together, Sarah.
Woohoo! I mean, it's good seeing the team as a team. I really enjoy the synergy that all the guys have together. They're all very fun and exciting, and just they're great.
You want to do a quick recap of who the gang is?
So we have our main hero, of course, Gon. He's the youngest.
Yeah, okay, main hero, sure.
Well, okay, fine, be that way.
He's not the main character of this arc.
That's fair. That's very fair. So we have Gon, we have Kurapika, who is the main character of this arc.
Yep.
My favorite, Leorio, and last but absolutely not least,
Killua. Okay, so they're all back together, but they don't all start back together. It initially starts that Gon and Killua come to York New City because they're trying to get a copy of this really rare video game called Greed Island. It's a game that is made for hunters, by hunters, and it's going to cost them billions just to even be able to bid on it at this auction, which is just kind of ridiculous. Anything you want to say about this impossible quest and some of the journeys of Gon and Killua together along this way?
it's really fun watching Gon and Killua do the things that they're doing. They have to basically go through what's called Heaven's Arena, and it's just fighting. But the battles are really good.
But that's at a spot in between. I'm talking more about how they're trying to make money. What are some of the different ways that Gon and Killua are trying to make money throughout the York New City arc?
Well, they've realized that there's some items that they come across that have a little bit of that extra something.
And that extra something's called Nen, and we talked about Nen before, but give them a quick recap of what Nen is, Sarah.
Nen is ninja magic. Basically what it is.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it's so much more than that. It's practically like life force magic that they use. So in between, they've learned the different types of Nen users there are. Gon is an enhancer, Killua is a manipulator, and they learn all different things, but we also learned that Kurapika is a specialist, which is going to show up later in the show. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Gon and Killua find little items that are Nen infused at the auction. They purchase them for cheap to be able to resell them for more, ultimately trying to get a copy of Greed Island. And frankly, we're not going to let you know how that goes because that's a completely different arc. But the point of what we're trying to say here is Gon and Killua are trying to, this whole arc, make as much money as possible so that they can get the game that they're after. And what is Kurapika's goal for being in the city, Sarah?
Kurapika was told by our wonderful Jester E. Clown friend that
Hisoka.
Yes, Hisoka. That the spiders would be here. So the guys that he's been trying to hunt after to avenge his clan are going to be in the city.
Yeah, they're going to be in there for the auction. Doesn't know exactly what the goal is yet, and we'll cover that a little bit later in the show. But yeah, no, the auction, that's what's causing everyone to flock into this area. These auctions, there is both a main auction that everyone's participating in, there's also sidewalk auctions, all different sorts of merchants flock to this area because it's the biggest bazaar in the world. And everyone flocks there for a couple of weeks, and all different kinds of auctions. There's one major one, and also the Mafia. This is their biggest gathering of the year, and they hold an underground auction for items that can't be sold. And that's how Kurapika ends up here. He ends up in the employment of the Nostrad family.
So the daughter of the head of the Nostrai family, she's got this really cool ability where basically she can see the future. And how awesome is that someone has? But how crazy is it that it's the daughter of a mob boss, basically? He's been using her, I'll like, use that word lightly, using her to just keep his standing in this gang and being the mob boss that he is. So with this awesome power, obviously comes people that want this awesome power.
Oh, and her name is Neon, for the record. And she tells these fortunes. Her Nen ability allows her to write them down. She doesn't know what she's writing as she's doing it, and she doesn't read it afterwards because she doesn't want to know what she's predicting for other people. The predictions that she's given to members of high ranking in the Mafia community has shown that there's going to be some sort of disaster at this year's underground auction.
Oh.
And that's really where it brings us to the Phantom Troop.
Sweet.
One thing, just to go back for a moment, before we get too much farther, Leorio is also here too, and he is mostly hanging out with Zeptile. Zeptile is a guy who Gon and Killua befriended because he was actually in competition with them for all the items that they were trying to purchase that were infused with Nen. And eventually he catches up to them when they're about to get scammed at a shop.
Yeah.
And he helps them, and he basically buddies up with them at that point in time because he sees something in Gon that he really likes, and Gon is a really rough appraisal for him. So, and that just fascinates him because he loves the fact that Gon is just about knowledge for knowledge's sake, and he doesn't really necessarily care if it's good or bad knowledge. Meanwhile, while Gon and Killua are playing their parts in the major part of this arc, Zeptile is hanging out with Leorio, and they're helping in some ways and just having fun and goofing off in other ways. So if you're already getting hooked, we recommend that you watch us for yourself on Crunchyroll, home to over 1,000 anime series and simulcast, both subbed and dubbed. The website is listed in the show notes. And if you like what you're hearing so far, definitely give us a like on social media, comment, subscribe, follow. We appreciate everything that you guys have done for us so far. And yeah, so definitely follow for more. Now, we are going to be talking about the main characters of this arc, and I get it that a lot of arcs focus on the heroes, but really, it feels like the heroes are not the focus of this arc at all.
I think I agree with that.
This arc almost feels very villain-protagonist. Let's talk about the Phantom Troop.
The spiders.
Let's start with their leader, Chrollo. Talk to us.
Chrollo's definitely an interesting guy. He's kind of one of those types where he's, like, you look at him and you're scared. Because he just has that kind of commanding presence. He's not big, he's not buff, he's just kind of average looking, but he's got that kind of presence. His Nen ability is he can kind of mimic other people's...
He doesn't mimic.
Okay,
he transfers. He
steals it.
The
Okay.
Nen ability
My
from others.
apologies on that. That's even worse.
It plays a really big role in this arc as a whole. And one thing about it, like, the Phantom Troop isn't intimidated by him, but they're some of the most powerful Nen users in the world, and they all have massive respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
And when you really think about it, command a group like the Phantom Troop, where things could easily spiral out of control, it's so impressive. Like, he's actually got them trained to the point, and I'm not trying to, like, say that they're his minions or lapdogs, because he treats them as equals, but he's got them trained to the point where anytime they're having a fight amongst themselves, they literally just pull out a coin to flip the coin to see who wins the fight, because there's no fighting between troop members. It's just kind of fascinating, and those coin flips go very right for them sometimes and very wrong for them other times. Like, it feels like at a certain point in time that the coin flip just really led to what might have been considered their undoing in this arc. But yeah, give us some of your favorite troop members. We're going to spend a little extra time here because we mentioned before that Hisoka is a member of the Phantom Troop, and he's also working
Obviously a favorite.
He's also working as a double agent. His motive for wanting to betray them is he wants to be able to fight Chrollo.
Dun dun dun.
Chrollo's so powerful. Chrollo's so much more above anyone that he knows, and he really just wants a chance to take down Chrollo because Hisoka loves competition. He loves fighting, and he loves killing. So yeah, his whole reason for being there is, well, he's not really a member in his own mind, but his whole reason for being there is to battle Chrollo. Nothing you want to say about that in addition?
I mean, Hisoka's fantastic. I love him as a character. But nothing to add to what you said, though.
Yeah, and he meets with Kurapika, and he explains that all to Kurapika, and Kurapika basically determines that, yeah, no, we're on the same side, at least for now, and
Yeah.
so they're kind of working with each other. So, some of your favorite troop members, give it to me.
I'm going to say his name wrong, and I'm going to feel bad, so correct me. Nobunaga?
Nobunaga, yes,
Okay,
you got it right.
okay. Some of these names I can't do. And he's very stern. He's very, like, firm about everything. I don't know if you really want me to jump into the reason I like him.
Yeah, no, go
But
into
just,
it.
Spoiler and all that good stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a point where both Killua and Gon get captured. And Nobunaga's just not putting up with this at all. But there's something in Gon, and it's always Gon. There's something in Gon that he sees, that he likes, and he wants Gon to join the troop. And I just thought that was like this weird fatherly thing, and I just liked it.
I'll let you come back to Nobunaga. The reason why he wants Gon to join the troop is because they lost a member. And
Oh, that's
I
fair.
can't say too much about that member at this point in time. I'll introduce that member in battle portion because we're gonna weave that into a little bit later. We're gonna talk about more, but they are a member down at this point in time. So he wants to recruit Gon and Killua. Anything further about Nobunaga?
I mean, I felt bad because just by the way we know how Gon and Killua both are, they're not going to join this murderous group of murderers.
Yeah.
And I just like
Well, they're thieves. They're not murderers.
Okay.
It's just they have no problem
There's
killing.
just no, yeah, jeez,
They enjoy killing.
yeah, right.
And did more killing than stealing in this arc.
For sure did.
Well, no, actually,
Oh,
they
no,
did a
not true.
lot of both. Like,
Yeah, it might have been 50-50.
They actually might have done more stealing than killing.
It might have. But my point was, like, he was kind of having this fatherly moment with the boys, and it just made me sad because I knew they weren't going to join, and part of me kind of wanted them to join, and it was terrible. I know it was terrible, but like I started liking him then, even though I knew they were never going to join the Phantom Troop. I knew it. I still just like I was just like, oh, this guy he's got it. He's cool. I like him.
Yep, and he's probably also the hottest head in the group too.
He
When you think
was
about it, like,
he was really quick.
I feel like he initiates the coin flip with other troop members more often than anyone else. Like,
That's fair.
he wanted to pick a fight with Franklin. He wanted to pick a fight with Phaeton, Finks. He even flipped the coin of Maki at some point in time. And I know those are all just names for now. And we're not going to go too much into Franklin. Franklin is an emitter who can shoot Nen bullets out of his fingers. And Machi actually, this isn't her first appearance. She appears in Heaven Arena. She has a Nen ability that allows you to re-stitch body parts, reconnecting nerves and everything. So she uses Nen strings, which is kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But we will go into Phaeton a little, because Phaeton is the main interrogation specialist / torturer for the Phantom Troop, despite the fact that he is clearly the shortest, or second shortest, or he's definitely the shortest guy by a lot. He might be the short... Oh, no. Yeah, no, definitely fact check me on that. Get me a troop member,
Yeah, that's,
nameless.
I would say that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
I just
Cortupi.
saw it.
So, is the smallest. But Phaeton really is the intense member of the troop, is the scary one, is the one that, frankly, you don't want to cross, and doesn't even show a lot of his powers. When he's fighting, it literally just shows him taking limbs off. So, yeah, he threatens Gon. He doesn't like Gon or Killua at all. He wants to take them out. But really, when it comes down to it, that coin flip was won by Nobunaga, and yeah, so that's all she wrote. Anyone else you want to talk about a little? Obviously, Cortupi is the one who can duplicate items, can make exact replicas. So when they stole all the items from an underground auction, they then duplicated all the items and sent them back, the duplicates, so that the underground auction could still go on, which is kind of a crazy way to do it. Another one who is probably the glue of the Phantom Troop, Shalnark.
I was about ready to give a shout out to him.
Talk to us.
I mean, he's just like you said, he's kind of the glue. He's got the knowledge. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about him is he looks more like a protagonist than an antagonist. He looks more
really
like a hero or a
does.
villain. But then everyone else is talking with sinister tones and like secretive
yeah.
voices, and he just says in the most positive, cheerful way possible, "Hey, yeah, no, we should just kill everyone," or something like that.
Yeah, he's very nonchalant, very chill.
Well, you realize it's kind of like, oh man, this guy doesn't have any sort of moral compass or conscience whatsoever. He doesn't feel bad about anything. Like, everything's just business as usual. He's their hacker. He takes control of beings and uses them to fight for him. He's the one who has access to the Hunter's website, so he has the Hunter's license. There's so much. He is just the guy that keeps them all connected. And really a huge important part. Not so much this arc as Pakunoda, but you want to talk to us a little about Pakunoda?
It's really, all I remember is that, yeah, she does. She touches you and she can read your memories, which you'd think would make her the better of the interrogation specialists. But for some reason, not as much.
Yeah, I mean, really, at the end of the day, who's going to tell Phaeton he can't interrogate, right?
That's fair. Very fair.
They all overlap a little, and really, when it comes down to it, the one who has no overlap whatsoever is the big guy, Yuvogin. And talk to us about Yuvogin.
Hey, he's a big guy. He's like at least like chest and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah, no, he's huge. He's very punctual. He's one of the founding members. He's buff as anything. His muscles have muscles, and
yeah.
Tell us about when he had to battle the Shadow Beast for the Mafia.
Oh, it was just about a massacre, to be honest.
And the Shadow Beast are the most powerful beings in the Mafia.
Again, it wasn't even fair. Like, Yuvogin just goes at it.
He calls off every other member of the Phantom Troop. They're sitting down and they're playing cards. They're literally sitting down and playing bull. And a few of them are watching as Yuvogin is taking on these Shadow Beasts 4-on-1 after he just wiped out the first wave of the mob. And yet they do some stuff to him. They actually get him a little bit paralyzed and poisoned, but at the end of the day, he takes out all 4 of them. And that allows... When all the dust is settling and the troop just thinks that they've won the moment, Kurapika swoops in and captures Yuvogin.
Yep.
A series of events happens. Eventually, Yuvogin gets freed by everyone and gets cured of his status ailments to just go right back up and hunt the chain user, Kurapika. And in between here is where Gon and Killua are captured by the troop, and then they escape the troop using things that they were taught by Zeptile. Different ways of escaping different areas. So they are able to leave when Nobunaga's just with them. But yeah, so just a side thought there. I'm getting off track. But eventually, Yuvogin and Kurapika meet. Kurapika's waiting for Yuvogin when he gets there. And Yuvogin's like, okay, let's head somewhere. Anywhere you want. And the two of them battle to the death.
Spoiler alert.
And Kurapika shows his resolve and how much he has prepared for the Phantom Troop.
Yeah.
He wins the one-on-one, and frankly, this is where we learn his specialist power. His red eyes allow him to be 100% a master in every single type of nen. He's able to bind the strongest member of the troop, and he's able to pierce his heart and finish off Yuvogin. And the whole time, Kurapika is trying to interrogate Yuvogin. And this is one of the things where I really like him. Yuvogin won't say anything. You can't get anything out of this guy. He goes to the grave, a Phantom Troop member, true and true. In some ways, like, and I'm not a guy who roots for the villain often, but in some ways, it just felt like Yuvogin was supposed to be the person you were rooting for in that scene.
Yeah, I get that.
Like,
I mean, interrogation scenes as a whole are kind of rough.
Like, Kurapika looked like the bloodthirsty murderer. And,
I mean, he kind of was at that point.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was, because the troop is his pride, similar to the way that the troop preys on other people. So, this leads to events where Chrollo is able to steal Neon Nostrad's power from her, and now he can fortune tell. And he gives the fortunes to every member of the troop, and they come to the conclusion, we're just gonna massacre the Mafia community because of these events. And the troop takes it out on the whole Mafia community. They're hunting the chain user. A lot of other things happen. A lot of other people fall. But at the end of the day, the Mafia is completely wiped out.
Yeah.
Kurapika emerges victorious with his plan. And the troop is down 2 members by the end of this. 2 members, kind of 3. And we're not going to give the full spoiler here, but we are going to say that Pakunoda, their mind reader, also falls in the process of it. And really, it's crazy the way the whole thing plays out. This is where, I got to tell you, you definitely need to watch this series, because the way this plays out, it's absolutely beautiful, and it's absolutely amazing. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of the troop loses, the Mafia community loses, really Kurapika loses a portion of his soul. Kurapika becomes like, he's still a good guy, he's still hunting the bad guys, but he becomes the bad guy to the bad guys. He's no longer a good guy, he becomes the bad guy to the bad guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Gon and Killua get set for the auction, where they... Oh, but you're raising your hand.
I was kind of... There's just... I feel like there's one character that's just kind of the unsung hero of this whole thing. That she's not a main character, she's a great side character, though. I think we have to give one shout out to Melody.
Oh, yeah. Yes, give some talk to Melody real quick.
So, just real quick, Melody's whole thing, she's on the side of Kurapika, helping to protect the Nostrad family's daughter.
She's one of the Nostrad bodyguards.
Thank you, bodyguard.
Most of whom just get slaughtered throughout the course of this.
Yeah. There's one point where Kurapika is just seething with anger because he's seeing the Phantom Troop, basically. And Melody realizes, like, oh shoot, if Kurapika goes after them now, we're all toast. So, I don't remember the instrument. I think it's a flute that she pulls out.
She plays the flute.
She plays this beautiful melody. How appropriate. And it helps soothe Kurapika down. And if Kurapika would have jumped at it then, it would have been over. He would not have won. He would have been outnumbered. He would have been outgamed all the way. So, mad props to the unsung hero Melody. She's fantastic.
Melody's an amazing character. A lot of the bodyguards were very special and unique. There's so much that I want to cover, but
yeah.
We're going to let you watch the arc and enjoy it, because really at the end of the day, it's an amazing arc. It's one of the best arcs in anime, period. It's probably the best arc of Hunter x Hunter. I hope you had as much fun exploring the York New City arc of Hunter x Hunter as we did, and consider watching this anime. And yeah, definitely, if you like what you heard, look us up on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. We really appreciate it. Any summarization for York New City, Sarah?
I think we did all the summarizing. It's a great arc, definitely. The battles are awesome. The character development, seeing Kurapika go from, like, 0 to chain user is awesome.
Yeah, no, once again, this is my favorite anime of all time, and this is the arc that really just kind of impresses me the most from it. So you should definitely give the whole Hunter x Hunter a watch. We definitely look forward to you watching it and tuning in next time. So if you like what you heard today, make sure to listen to us on Apple and Spotify. All of our podcasts are there. All of the J-Mail for Real podcasts are on there. Check us out on social media and interact with us there. It is linked in the show notes. Until next time, this has been Exploring Anime with Friends, a J-Mail for Real podcast. Let's explore together.